All right, let's try this again. Let me check. It should be good. Audio should be good, guys. By the way, I probably messed up the amount of volume coming through here. That should probably be good. I mean, you guys should be able to hear this. I literally just started the stream 2 minutes ago. You guys were saying no audio. So, I will give it a minute here so you guys can double check. I see it, though. I just fixed it. I changed the inputs. It should be good now, guys. You should for sure hear this. So I'm just going to continue. Let's restart this thing. Subscribe to my channel if you want. 58% winning rate. That's through 11 full weeks of college football. The record is 38-27 this far. So I got a bunch of picks today. I got 9. We're going with volume today. We're going with volume. I'm not just going to try to nitpick like my top 3 picks and go 1 and 2 because some quarterback breaks his arm and goes out of the game on like the second play of the game or just some bad luck like that. If we have enough volume, we're just, a little bit of bad luck's not going to stop us. We're looking for a 7 and 2, maybe an 8 and 1 here. Really just trying to absolutely smoke college football. Really like these picks. I really like these picks. Now, let's start with number 1. Chattanooga, Alabama. What are we doing, guys? Spread's 44.5. I mean, Bama, sure. They're already locked into the championship game for the SEC. I understand that. Chattanooga's nobody. Even if Bama's half asleep, and they won't be, because Saban, look, Bama, here we are coming down to the final stretches of college football season, and Alabama is not in the spotlight. Like, there's no rat poison, right? Saban is focused. I think Bama's going to be sharp. They could sleepwalk through this game and probably cover 44.5. So I'm going to lay the points with Alabama playing an absolute nobody. I don't think it's going to take that much of an effort from Alabama here to cover 44.5. I mean, they could be half asleep. So pick number 1, Alabama. I mean, you're going to need at least 50 points for me to stay off this game. 44.5? That's reasonable. Give me Bama. Pick number 2, I'm taking UCLA plus the 6.5 over USC. USC overdue for a win. They'll get it, but 6.5. I just don't know how USC can beat anybody by 6.5. How are they going to beat anybody by 6.5? Whoever has the ball last, maybe they're down 3, one last touchdown, win the game by 4. UCLA covers. And UCLA could win this game. Actually, hold on, guys. Do I have the sheet with me? Shoot. I'll be right back in 2 seconds. I have a sheet with some data that I actually want to bring up about the UCLA game that suggests an upset and a couple of these other games, and just some extra points. I'll give you guys like some bonus picks, right? So we have our official plays. I'll give you some bonus picks. So let me go get that piece of paper. I'll be back in like 2 milliseconds. Boom. All right, I'm back. Here we go. UCLA, USC. So get this, right? Against the spread, USC is getting 68% of the money. Okay, almost 70% against the spread, but on the money line, 91% on UCLA. So a lot of people out there are saying, fuck the spread. I don't even want the points. Give me UCLA outright. But we're going to take UCLA plus the 6.5. Another thing, not always, and don't just like blindly bet a from this, but usually when you see a spread of 6.5, your kind of mentality is like, oh, well, it's under a touchdown. It's not 7, it's 6.5. USC's at home. They're due for a win. If it was 7, I'd stay away, but it's 6.5. Yeah, I'm going to take USC. You can't do that. Mine, plus 2.5, plus 6.5, plus 9.5. The underdogs actually cover those numbers pretty often, so something to think about. So let's play number 2, UCLA plus the 6.5. We're going to go to the UNC and Clemson game. Give me Clemson. I think think the media, the negative stuff around Dabo and the program this year for Clemson, I think it lit a fire under them. UNC's not playing good ball right now. No defense. Drake May, obviously a talented player, but man, if they're in his face all game, how effective is he going to be? And this spread's crazy. I mean, UNC has a better record. They're ranked. Clemson's not, but it's in Death Valley. Give me Clemson. Give me Clemson. I'll lay under a touchdown. I know that's what I just talked about with the previous game, taking, the home team that's -6.5, but you don't just blindly take games because of that. In this spot, like I just named, all those other factors, plus a reasonable spread. So I'll take Clemson. So on one game, we'll take the 6.5. The other game, we'll lay the 6.5. Here's one that's not going to be popular. Okay, and you guys can leave your comments below. I know this is going to rub people the wrong way, and if they lose by 100, so be it. That's why I'm giving you guys 9 picks. I'm taking Tennessee in the points. Georgia, yes, they're substantially better. Are they going to win the game? Yes. Are they going to probably win it all? Maybe. Tennessee just got smoked. No one's on Tennessee. There's like 90% of public money on Georgia. The line hasn't moved. It hasn't moved an inch. If this is it's just like glued at 10.5. It's just 10.5 and it's just sitting there. And I think the sports books are happy. They're like, oh yeah, look at all this money coming in on Georgia. We don't have to move the line. We don't have to do anything. Let's just sit here, let all the money come in at 10.5. Georgia's winning the game, but man, the only thing that keeps circling in my head is how Tennessee started the game against Alabama. They have it in them to be that team. I don't trust the quarterback. He's not great, but if he can be average in this game, plus the home field advantage in defense, 10.5, probably too much. Georgia already knows they're locked into the championship game. They could actually lose to Tennessee, beat Alabama, and they're for sure in the playoffs. So this isn't like a total desperation spot for Georgia, but this is essentially Tennessee's Super Bowl of the year, right? This is Tennessee's last chance to like be in a big game, ruin someone's game, whatever. I'm taking the points. Georgia wins by 14-20. Sure, man. I mean, maybe. I'm gonna go against the public. It's way too public for me. I'm taking 10.5 with Tennessee. So far, just to recap, if you're just joining the live stream, by the way, hit that like button if you're just swinging by. Make sure you are subscribed. Just double check that stuff. So far, we're on Bama, we're on UCLA, we're on Clemson, and we're on Tennessee. Pick number 5. I'm going to take 27.5 against Ohio State. I kind of like the under in this game too, but 27.5. Minnesota's just an ugly, grungy team. Ohio State, I just can't do it. Like you want to put a lot of value on the Penn State win, right? Really impressive win over Penn State. Penn State's not good. Penn State is not a good football team. They have absolutely no offense. Besides that, Ohio State just hasn't impressed me. I think the same about Michigan or Maryland. I don't think Maryland's that good. So Maryland getting killed, I just don't see it. I'm gonna take 27.5 here with Minnesota. I think Ohio State knows if they just win, take care of the Michigan game, they're in. How important do they put this game on the radar? I don't know. This is like Minnesota's last opportunity to kind of be in the spotlight for the year. I'll take 27.5 points. Give me Minnesota. And the money on, let me just double check it for you guys. Let's actually see how bad the betting is on Ohio State. And that spread's not moving, guys. It's not moving an inch. Ohio State, let's see. I bet it's 85. I bet it's 85. Okay, I'm wrong. I'm actually wrong. There actually is a fair amount. There's actually some pretty sharp money on Minnesota this week. Now, what I mean by sharp is an overall majority of the number of bets are on Ohio State, right? So the number of bets placed is in favor of Ohio State, but the amount of money is drastically in favor of Minnesota. What's that mean? The big boys, the dudes that actually got money, the professionals, they're on Minnesota here. 70% of the money against the spread is on Minnesota, but 57.7% of the bets are on Ohio State. So what's that mean? It means maybe some people get rich, but a majority of us are going to have losing tickets. I'm going to be on the side with Minnesota. I'm taking the 27.5. UCF, Texas Tech. Texas Tech did not look impressive in that second half against Kansas. Texas Tech does not look impressive at the ends of like any games. But I'm telling you what, how can UCF beat an Oklahoma State team that was ranked 15th in that fashion, and now they're an underdog to an underachieving Texas Tech team? Give me the Red Raiders at home. I'm taking Texas Tech. The spread's 2.5. I think it was 3 when we first looked at it when I did the recap video this week. And you don't love to see line movement like that. But I think people are going to be running to get back on UCF, right? And I just don't buy it. Do I have the percentages for that? Let me double check that because that's important too. I want you guys to know this data. UCF and Texas Tech. Okay, so the money's on Texas Tech here. But it's not crazy. It's not crazy at all. 57.6% of the money, a little over half. That's not going to scare me away. I like Texas Tech at home to get a win. They've looked better with that quarterback back in the picture, and that Kansas game was just kind of weird. They had a new quarterback that they hadn't prepared for. Yes, he's not as good as Jason Bean, but whenever you have a quarterback switch in a game, sometimes teams rally, momentum, weird things happen, so... all in all, I just think the spread is fishy after UCF and what they did to Oklahoma State to now be an underdog of 2.5. I'll take Red Raiders at home. Speaking of Kansas, let's go to Kansas State, Kansas. This one's not popular either, and I've been looking up a lot of data. I've seen a lot of people's other opinions. I've watched a few videos just to kind of see what people are thinking. People are thinking Kansas State by 1 million here. People are thinking Kansas State for sure wins by double digits. Jason Bean is going to play. He didn't break his wrist. He didn't twist his ankle. He hurt his head. He's fine. The coach already said he's fine this week. Jason Bean will be under center for Kansas. They're at home. They're off a loss. This is a game that historically is completely dominated by Kansas State at like a mind-blowing rate. Is it finally the year Kansas gets the job done? Probably not. They're not going to win, but 8.5? 8.5? Are you kidding me? I'm actually going to double check it. Maybe it dropped already. Maybe it dropped. Where is the Kansas State spread? And I double checked these a few minutes. It's still 8.5, but Kansas is juiced at 8.5. And I'm going to take it. I'm taking 8.5 points. I think this is crazy. Kansas was getting 8.5 against Oklahoma. They won the game outright. Now they're getting 8.5 against Kansas State, who makes some questionable decisions, right, under the quarterback spot. They've kind of been in and out of a couple different quarterbacks. Howard, a little bit random at times. I think Kansas can step up at home. They're a good team, better than people think. If Jason Bean was out, I'd be all over the Wildcats here. But nah, if you're going to give me 8.5, Kansas at home off of a loss. Okay, here's one thing. If Kansas came back last week and squeaked off the victory against Texas Tech, I'd be on Kansas State here, even laying 8.5. But Kansas off a loss in Lawrence, getting 8.5, Jason Bean's going to play. Just the offense alone will keep him within that number, my opinion. I'm taking the 8.5 with Kansas. Two more, guys, two more. Washington, Oregon State. Washington, Oregon State. I told you guys in the recap video. Now, in that recap video, Oregon State was an underdog, right? It opened as a 1.5 underdog, and I immediately said in that video, this is my favorite pick of the week. I think I dropped my paper. I did something crazy. Maybe I stood up on this chair and did a backflip. I can't remember. Give me Oregon State. The number's still under a field goal. I don't care what it is. They're too physical. They're too good at home. I hate that it's public. I hate it. So many people are on him, and I'm shocked. I was kind of hoping the world would be on Washington here, and I was going to be like the fucking genius of the week. But I don't care. I don't care that it's public. I don't care. I don't care. I'm usually skeptical. I usually have my conspiracy theories and whatever. Give me Oregon State at home minus 2.5. I don't care. Give me the Beavers. Too physical. They're going to run the ball all over Washington. Long drives, 8-9 minutes off a clock to still get 7 points at the end. I just don't see that explosive Washington win coming. I see a Kind of a grind out game, lower scoring than people think. Give me the Beavers at home. Too physical. And one last pick, potentially my least favorite. I'm going Missouri. You just have to. You just have to. Florida put a lot of energy into the LSU game. They came up short. Now, despite the final score, that game was actually like pretty competitive. It's back and forth. It was a pretty good game, the Florida LSU game. Missouri's defense, not LSU's defense. I think you have to take Missouri here. What do they rank? 10 or 11? I mean, if they stomp Florida into pieces here, they're really kind of like looking at the potential and where they could get. And it's pretty high. You just never know what happens throughout the rest of the season. So I like Missouri here. Maybe it is kind of a lack of energy spot, a letdown spot for Missouri after just beating the snot out of Tennessee. I get that. But even if we can get like a 70% effort from Missouri at home, I don't know. Florida is not a good team. I'm telling you right now. Florida lost at home to Arkansas. Arkansas lost by 1,000,000 points to Auburn at home. So, yeah, do the math. Give me Missouri at home laying 11.5. I wish it was 10.5, but laying the 11.5. So there you go, guys. 9 picks. Bama minus 44.5. UCLA plus 6.5. Clemson at home minus 6.5 to stomp UNC. I'm taking the points with Tennessee. 10.5 is too much in that game. I'm taking the points with Minnesota. 27.5 is too much. I don't care about Ohio State. Texas Tech at home against a team that just smoked Oklahoma State. Give me the Red Raiders minus 2.5. I'll take the 8.5 with Kansas. Way too many points. I think that game's got to be close. Too big of a rivalry. Jason Bean's playing. Kansas is on the up and up. And maybe their coach is actually going to Texas A&M. A little bit of a rumor there. So he definitely wants to go out in winning fashion at Kansas. Oregon State at home. I've explained that and don't have to. And give me Missouri to top things off to beat a Florida team that's probably just out of gas and doesn't care at this point. That's 9 picks. Is that 7-2? I mean, what 2 are going to lose? Maybe 2 or 3 of those lose. That's a winning week for sure, in my opinion. What do you guys think? You like Missouri to win big at home? Yeah. You like Oregon State to win by 3 at home? Yeah, Oregon State, they're not gonna run away with it, right? They're not gonna kill Washington. Washington has they just have to take care of business, and they're in the playoff. So they're not gonna go. They're not just gonna say, "Here, Oregon, here's the win." But yeah, Oregon State, I have to take them despite how public it is. And it disgusts me how public it is. Really, really hate it, but I don't care. I think by game time, that line's going to be 3. So we'll see what happens there. And I'm pretty sure that's it. Let me see if I can find you guys a bonus pick real quick. Can we get a bonus pick? Now, okay, so this bonus pick, not going to count towards the track record. The 9 picks I just went over are going to be our official plays. I like Colorado this week in an upset. I gave out Colorado last week. I think they were in my upset video where I picked the upsets. They're getting 4.5 at Washington State. Washington State, yeah, not a good team. I've seen them play before. They're soft and gutless, kind of like Colorado. The whole world's on Colorado. Everyone hates Dion now. Everyone's hating on them. I think they get a win. I think they're due for a win. They've had enough losses here. They got some talent. Maybe they make a couple of plays. Big game from Sanders at quarterback. Colorado, yeah, take the 4.5 or money line. I could see it being an upset. There's your bonus pick. That's pretty much it, guys. The NFL official plays will be out probably within 24 hours or so. So make sure your notifications are turned on. We had a big week last week in NFL. Have pretty good winning percentage over the last 3 weeks in NFL. So definitely pay attention to the NFL.